The message came at 3 in the morning, Earth time. Ambassador Park Jisoo was sleeping in her apartment on Luna Station when her communication device started screaming. Not the normal beep of a regular message. This was the red alert sound. The sound that meant something had gone very wrong. She sat up in bed and grabbed the device. The message was short. The Galactic Council demanded her presence on Vela Prime. Immediately, no explanation. No details. Just a command to appear before the 12 most powerful beings in the known universe. Jisoo had been Earth's ambassador to the galactic community for 7 years. She had seen strange things. She had dealt with species that breathed poison, species that communicated through color changes in their skin, and species that considered humans to be barely more intelligent than animals. But she had never received a summons like this. She dressed quickly and made her way to the diplomatic vessel Horizon. The ship was already warming up when she arrived. Someone had given orders before she even woke up. Lieutenant Kong Doyon met her at the boarding ramp. He was a young man with sharp eyes and a calm face that never showed what he was thinking. Before joining the diplomatic corps, he had worked in naval intelligence. He could read alien body language better than most humans could read their own families. "Do we know what this is about?" Jisoo asked as they walked through the ship's corridors. Doyon shook his head. "Nothing official. But I have been monitoring the communication channels." He paused. "There are rumors about Eridan 7. Jisoo stopped walking. Eridan 7 was a human colony on the edge of explored space. 40,000 people lived there. Scientists, farmers, families, children. It was supposed to be a peaceful place. A new beginning for humanity among the stars. "What kind of rumors?" "The colony went dark 3 days ago," Doyon said. "No communications. No distress signals. Nothing." Yes. Shu felt something cold settle in her stomach. Colonies did not just go silent. There was always a reason. Equipment failure. Solar interference. Something. But 3 days of complete silence meant something else entirely. The journey to Vela Prime took 18 hours. Jisoo spent most of that time trying to get information. She contacted Earth Command. She reached out to friendly species. She searched every database she could access. But everyone gave her the same answer. They did not know what had happened to Eridan 7, or they would not say. Doyen spent the journey staring at old photographs on his personal device. Jisoo noticed but said nothing. She knew his younger sister Yaren lived on Eridan 7. She was a botanist studying alien plant life, 26 years old. Full of dreams about discovering new species that could help feed hungry worlds. When the Horizon dropped out of faster-than-light travel, Vela Prime filled the view screen. It was a beautiful world. Purple oceans and silver continents. The Council had chosen it as their headquarters because it was beautiful, and because it belonged to no one. Neutral ground for a galaxy full of competing species, the Valathi met them at the landing platform. They were tall creatures, almost 3 meters high, with bodies like insects and faces that showed no emotion. They served as the Council's administrators and guards. Jisoo had dealt with them many times. They were always polite, always professional, but today they seemed nervous. Ambassador Park, the lead Valathi, said, "The Council awaits. Please follow." They walked through corridors made of something that looked like crystal but felt warm to the touch. Other species passed them. Some Jisoo recognized, others she had never seen before. But all of them did the same thing. They looked at her, then looked away quickly. They whispered to each other after she passed. Something was very wrong. The council chamber was enormous. It could hold thousands of beings. Today it held only the 12 council members and a small number of observers from various species. Jisoo walked to the center of the floor. Doyen stayed 3 steps behind her, as protocol demanded. The council members sat in elevated thrones arranged in a half-circle. Each throne was designed for its occupant species. Some were filled with water. Some were surrounded by specific atmospheres. Some seemed to exist in slightly different dimensions. High Arbiter Morvath spoke first. He was ancient. His body was a floating mass of glowing tendrils that pulsed with soft light. He had led the council for over 2,000 years. His voice came from everywhere at once. Ambassador Park. Thank you for coming so quickly. Hi, Arbiter, Jisoo replied. Her voice was calm. Her heart was not. I was told this matter was urgent, but I was not told what the matter was. Morvath's tendrils shifted color slightly. Jisoo had learned that this meant discomfort. We must discuss the situation regarding your colony on Eridan 7. What situation? My government has received no information, another council member spoke. Thiessen was a reptilian creature with scales that shifted between green and gold. She was known for speaking plainly when others would not. The Karathi Dominion has claimed the Eridan system as their territory. Your colony has been... relocated. Jisoo felt Doyen tense behind her. She kept her own body still. Relocated, she repeated. 40,000 people. Where were they relocated to? Silence filled the chamber. The council members looked at each other. Some looked away entirely. Ambassador Morvath finally said, The Korathi do not relocate populations. They eliminate them. The words hit Jisoo like a physical blow. 40,000 people. Men and women and children. Scientists and farmers and dreamers. Gone. Eliminated. Like they were nothing more than insects to be crushed behind her. She heard Doyon make a small sound. Almost like a gasp, but cut off quickly. She did not turn to look at him. She could not. If she saw his face, she might lose control of her own. You are telling me, Jisoo said slowly, that the Karathi killed 40,000 human civilians. And you called me here to inform me of this. We called you here, Thiessen said, to discuss what happens next. The council offers its deepest condolences for your loss. Condolences. The word burned in Jisoo's mind. 40,000 dead, and they offered condolences. What action will the council take against the Korathi? The silence returned. It was heavier this time. Morvath's tendrils dimmed slightly. Ambassador Park. The Korathi have invoked the right of territorial assertion. It is an ancient law. When a species claims uncontested space, their claim is recognized. Your colony on Eridan 7 was never formally registered with the council. In the eyes of galactic law, it did not exist. Jisoo stared at the ancient being. She had heard wrong. She must have heard wrong. You are saying that 40,000 deaths mean nothing because of paperwork? We are saying, Morvath replied, that the council cannot intervene in matters of territorial law. We are truly sorry. Jisoo stood alone in the center of that vast chamber. 12 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy looked down at her with something that might have been pity. And somewhere behind her, a young man had just learned that his sister was dead. Killed by aliens who would face no consequences. She took a slow breath. Then another. When she spoke, her voice was very quiet. I need to contact my government. The council gave Jisoo a private room to make her communications. It was a small space with walls that blocked all signals except the one she chose to send. A courtesy, they called it. Privacy during a difficult time. Before she contacted Earth, she asked for one thing. Evidence. She needed to see what had happened to Eridan 7. The council hesitated, but eventually they agreed. A neutral observation post had recorded the attack. They sent the footage to her device. Jisoo watched it alone first. Then she called Doyon into the room and made him watch it with her. He deserved to know. He deserved to see. The footage was clear. To clear. The observation post had excellent sensors. Every detail was visible. The Karathi ships came out of faster-than-light travel without warning. 15 warships, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. They took positions around the planet in a perfect formation. Military precision. They had done this before. There was no communication. No demand for surrender. No offer to let the colonists leave. The Karathi simply began firing. Plasma bombardment. The technical term made it sound clean. It was not clean. Jisoo watched as fire rained down on the colony. Buildings vanished in flashes of light. The agricultural domes that fed the colony collapsed. The research centers where scientists worked to understand this new world became craters. The attack lasted for hours. For hours of continuous bombardment. When it was over, there was nothing left. The colony site was glass, molten rock and ash where 40,000 people had lived and worked and dreamed. Doyen watched without speaking. His face showed nothing, but Jisoo saw his hands. They were shaking. He could not make them stop. Yaren was working in the Botanical Center, he said quietly. Section 7. Near the Northern Dome, Jisoo looked at the footage. The Northern Dome had been hit in the first wave. His sister had probably died in the first minutes of the attack. She did not know if that was a mercy or not. "I am sorry," she said. The words felt useless. They were useless. Doyen nodded slowly. Then he straightened his back and took a deep breath. What do we do now? That was the question. What did they do now? 40,000 people were dead. The killers would face no punishment. The galaxy's greatest powers had shrugged and offered condolences. Jisoo opened a secure channel to Earth. The face that appeared on the screen belonged to G. Anirul Yoon Taeson. He was an old soldier with gray hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. He commanded Earth's combined military forces. The fact that he was taking this call personally told Jisoo everything she needed to know. "I have already seen the footage," the general said. "The council shared it with us an hour ago." "Then you know what they told me?" "The Karathi used some ancient law. The council will not act." General Yoon nodded. His face was like stone. No emotion showed, but Jisoo could feel the anger radiating from him even across the vast distance between them. "The United Earth Assembly has been in emergency session since we received the news," he said. "Every nation. Every representative. We have been discussing our response." Jisoo leaned forward. "And what has the Assembly decided?" "The vote was unanimous." The general paused. In that pause, Jisoo felt history shifting. "We are done talking, Ambassador. You will return to the council chamber tomorrow. You will deliver our response in person. I am sending you the details now." The communication ended. Jisoo's device received a data package. She opened it and began to read. As she read, her expression changed. Fear, then doubt, then something else. Something hard and cold. Doyen watched her. "Ambassador? What does it say?" Jisoo did not answer immediately. She read the document 3 times to make sure she understood. Then she looked at the young lieutenant with his shaking hands and his dead sister. "It says that the Karathi made a mistake," she said. "A very serious mistake." That night, Jisoo did not sleep. She spent the hours preparing. She read everything humanity knew about the Karathi Dominion. They were a warrior species. Conquest was their way of life. They had destroyed 17 other species in their expansion across the galaxy. Some of those species had been powerful. Some had been ancient. All of them were gone now. The Karathi believed that strength was the only law that mattered. The strong took what they wanted. The weak died. It was simple. It was brutal. It had worked for them for centuries. They had never lost a war. Not once. She also read about the right of territorial assertion. It was indeed an ancient law created thousands of years ago when the galaxy was younger and more violent. It was meant to prevent endless small conflicts over empty space. If a species claimed territory that no one else had registered, the claim was recognized. Simple, but the law had a flaw. A terrible flaw that the Council had chosen to ignore. The law said nothing about what happened to people living in unregistered territory. It assumed that empty space was truly empty. It never imagined that someone would use it to justify genocide. The Council knew this. They had to know. But they had done nothing. They had watched the Karathi kill 40,000 humans. And they had done nothing because the paperwork was not in order. Dawn came to Vela. Prime, the purple sun rose over silver continents. It was beautiful. Jisoo hated it. Doyen appeared at her door. He had changed his uniform. The old one had been wrinkled from the long journey. This one was perfect. Every button polished. Every crease sharp. He looked like a soldier going into battle. "Are you ready?" he asked. Jisoo thought about that question. Was she ready? She was about to do something that could not be undone. Something that would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. Something that might lead to the death of millions more. But then she thought about the footage. The fire falling from the sky. The domes collapsing. 40,000 people who woke up that morning thinking it was just another day. And then they were gone. Erased. Forgotten by a galaxy that considered them less important than paperwork. Yes, she said, I am ready. They walked together through the crystal corridors. The Velothi guards escorted them. Other species watched them pass. The whispers continued. Everyone knew something was about to happen. No one knew what the council chamber was fuller today. Word had spread. Representatives from dozens of species filled the observer galleries. They wanted to see how humanity would respond to the murder of 40,000 of their people. They expected grief. They expected anger. They expected demands for justice that would be politely refused. They did not expect what they were about to witness. Jisoo walked to the center of the chamber floor. She stood there for a long moment, looking up at the 12 council members in their thrones. Then she took a step forward. Another step. She moved to a position reserved for those making formal declarations. The whispers stopped. The chamber became very quiet. High Arbiter Morvath leaned forward, his tendrils brightening with concern. Ambassador Park? Is there something you wish to say? Jisoo smiled. It was not a warm smile. It was the smile of someone who had made a decision and would not turn back. Hi, Arbiter. I have something to say. I have a message from the United Earth Assembly. From all of humanity. She paused. Would you like to hear it? The chamber was silent. Every eye, every sensor, every form of perception focused on the small human woman standing in the center of the floor. Ambassador Park Jisoo looked up at the council members without fear. She had spent the whole night preparing for this moment. Now it was here. High Arbiter, she began. Honored members of the council. I thank you for your condolences regarding the destruction of our colony on Eridan 7. I thank you for explaining the laws that prevented you from taking action. I understand that you believe you had no choice. Morvath's tendrils shifted with what might have been relief. Perhaps the human would be reasonable after all. Perhaps she would accept the situation. However, Jisoo continued, I must educate the council about something. Something you may have forgotten in your 10,000 years of peace. She began to walk slowly around the center of the chamber. Her voice carried to every corner. Behind her, Lieutenant Doyen stood perfectly still, watching. You look at humanity, and you see a young species. We have only been traveling between stars for 200 years. Compared to most of you, we are children. You see our short lives and you think we are weak. You see our small bodies and you think we are harmless. You see our lack of natural weapons and you think we are prey. Some of the council members shifted uncomfortably. This was not the speech they expected. You are wrong. Jisoo stopped walking. She faced the council directly. Let me tell you about human history. Not the pretty parts. Not the achievements we are proud of. Let me tell you about what we really are. She raised her hand and activated a holographic display. Images appeared in the air. Images from Earth's past. This is called a nuclear weapon. We invented it less than 300 years ago. In the first test, it created a fireball that turned sand into glass. The scientists who built it were not sure if it would set the entire atmosphere on fire and destroy all life on our planet. They built it anyway. The image changed. A city in ruins. Shadows burned into walls. We used these weapons on each other. Twice, we killed hundreds of thousands of our own people in seconds. And then we built more. Thousands more. Enough to destroy our world many times over. Councilmember Thiessen leaned forward. You are saying your species is suicidal? No. I am saying we are survivors. Jisoo's voice grew harder. We almost destroyed ourselves. Not once. Many times. We fought wars that killed millions. We created weapons designed not just to kill, but to cause maximum suffering. We invented things like poison gas and biological weapons and bombs that spread fire across entire cities. New images appeared. Trenches filled with mud and bodies. Cities burning. Refugees walking endless roads. Every generation of humans has known war. We have been fighting each other since before we had words to describe what we were doing. We fought over land. We fought over food. We fought over ideas and beliefs and things that seem ridiculous now. We fought because fighting is what we do. She let the images fade, and yet we are still here. Every time we nearly destroyed ourselves, we came back. We adapted. We learned. We became stronger. You have had 10,000 years of peace. We have had 10,000 years of war. You learned to build civilizations. We learned to survive anything. Morvath spoke carefully. Ambassador, this is a disturbing history. But I fail to see its relevance to its relevance. Jisu interrupted. Is this? You see our short lives as weakness? We see them as urgency. We do not have centuries to plan revenge. We do not have generations to prepare for war. When someone hurts us, we respond immediately. With everything we have. She pulled a small data chip from her pocket and placed it on the central podium. The holographic display activated automatically. It showed Earth. It showed Mars. It showed the asteroid belt and the orbital stations and the shipyards working at full capacity. The United Earth Assembly met in emergency session after learning about Eridan 7. Representatives from every nation on Earth, every colony, every station. For the first time in human history, there was a unanimous vote. The display changed. Fleet movements, ship designs, weapon specifications. Humanity formally declares war on the Karathi Dominion. The chamber exploded with sound. Council members shouted. Observers jumped to their feet. The Valathi guards moved toward Jisu, then stopped, uncertain what to do. Thessen's voice cut through the chaos. This is madness. The Karathi have conquered 17 species. They have thousands of warships. What can humanity possibly hope to accomplish? We can fight, Jisu replied calmly. You will die. Perhaps, but we will not die quietly. And we will not die alone. Jisu looked at the reptilian council member with eyes like ice. You told me yesterday that war with the Karathi would be suicide. You may be right. But let me tell you something about humans. She walked toward the council thrones. The guards did not stop her. When humans believe in something, they will die for it. When humans love something, they will kill for it. And when someone hurts our families, our friends, our people, she paused. We do not calculate the odds. We do not consider the costs. We simply destroy whatever hurt them. This is emotion, not strategy, Morvath said. The council cannot condone, the council does not need to condone anything, Jisu said. We are not asking permission. We are informing you of a fact. Humanity is at war. The Karathi killed 40,000 of our people. Now they will learn what that means. She turned to face the entire chamber. Every species watching. Every diplomat and observer and spy. You forgot rule number 1, she said. Her voice was soft, but it carried to every corner. Never give humans a reason to fight together. We spend most of our time fighting each other. We argue about everything. We disagree about politics and religion and what color to paint our buildings. A small, cold smile crossed her face. But when someone attacks us from outside, when someone kills our children, we stop fighting each other. We stop arguing. We become one people with one purpose. And that purpose becomes the complete and total destruction of whoever made the mistake of uniting us. In the observer gallery, a Karathi diplomat laughed. It was a harsh sound, like metal scraping metal. The prey thinks it can threaten the hunter, he said loudly. This will be amusing. Jisu looked at him. Just looked. The Karathi diplomat stopped laughing. Something in her eyes made him uncomfortable, though he could not say why. Transmit my words to your dominion, she said. Tell them what I said. Tell them we are coming. Tell them to prepare. She walked toward the exit. Doyan fell into step beside her. At the door, she paused and looked back. One more thing. You asked what we hope to accomplish? The answer is simple. Her voice carried across the silent chamber. We hope to make them regret every moment of every day until the end of their civilization. We hope to make them understand that some prey bites back. She left. Behind her, the Karathi diplomat was already sending a message to his homeworld. Within hours, the Karathi High Command would receive the human declaration of war. They would laugh about it. They would call humanity an amusing inconvenience. They would make jokes about how quickly this little war would end. They had no idea what they had awakened. 6 months after the declaration of war, the galaxy watched in confusion. The Karathi Dominion had expected a quick victory. They had fought dozens of wars. They knew how conquest worked. You send your fleets. You destroy the enemy's defenses. You claim their worlds. It was simple. Humanity did not follow the rules. The first sign that something was wrong came in the second week of the war. A Karathi supply convoy disappeared near the Raven Nebula. 12 cargo ships carrying food and ammunition for the front lines. One moment they were traveling through normal space. The next moment, they were gone. No distress signals, no debris. Just empty space. The Karathi sent scouts to investigate. The scouts disappeared to Captain Lee Hanna, stood on the bridge of the human stealth destroyer, Silent Fury. She was a small woman with short black hair and calm eyes that never showed what she was thinking. Before the war, she had been a cargo pilot. Now she commanded 300 of the most dangerous soldiers in the galaxy. Status report, she said. Her second officer, Lieutenant Commander Baek Junho, checked his screens. 12 cargo ships destroyed. 3 scouts destroyed. No witnesses. No survivors. Good. Hannah looked at the tactical display. Red dots showed Karathi positions throughout the sector. Blue dots showed human forces. There were a lot more red dots. What is our next target? There is a fuel depot at coordinates 773. It supplies their entire eastern fleet. Destroy it, and their ships will be stuck in place for weeks. How well defended? 15 warships. Orbital defense platforms. Sensor networks covering 2 light years in every direction. Junho paused. It should be impossible to approach. Hannah smiled slightly. Should be. The Karathi had built their defenses based on centuries of experience. They knew how wars were fought. Large fleets met in open space. Whoever had more ships won. Simple. Humans did not have more ships. So they refused to fight that way. The Silent Fury moved through space like a ghost. Its engines had been modified to produce almost no heat signature. Its hull was coated with materials that absorb sensor pulses instead of reflecting them. It could pass within 1,000 kilometers of a Karathi ship and remain invisible. They waited at the edge of the sensor. Network for 3 days. Watching, learning. Every patrol had a pattern. Every sensor had a blind spot. Humans were very good at finding patterns and very good at exploiting them. On the 4th day, they moved. The Silent Fury slipped through the defense network like water through fingers. They reached the fuel depot at midnight, local time. The Karathi crews were changing shifts. Security was relaxed. Hannah gave a simple order. Light them up. The fuel depot exploded in a fireball visible from 3 planets away. 4 million tons of refined fuel. Gone in seconds. The Karathi Eastern Fleet would not move for months. The Silent Fury was gone before the explosion finished. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Humans did not fight like other species. They did not line up their ships and charge into battle. They attacked from shadows. They struck at weak points. They turned the Karathi's own size against them. A large empire needs supply lines. The Karathi had thousands of ships, but those ships needed fuel, food, ammunition, and replacement parts. The supply lines stretched across dozens of star systems. They were impossible to fully protect. Humans knew this. Humans exploited this. Ground warfare was even worse for the Karathi. On the occupied moon of Kestrel 4, Karathi soldiers controlled a human mining colony. They expected the humans to surrender. Instead, the miners fought back. They used mining explosives as weapons. They collapsed tunnels on top of Karathi patrols. They modified mining lasers to cut through Karathi armor. Sergeant Omingi led a resistance cell of 47 miners. She was 63 years old. Before the war, she had never fired a weapon in her life. Now she had killed more Karathi soldiers than she could count. They don't understand us, she told her people. They think because we are civilians, we will not fight. They think because we are old or young or scared, we will give up. She held up a crude bomb made from mining supplies. Show them what humans do when we have nothing left to lose. The Karathi commander on Kestrel 4 sent a message to the High Command. He requested reinforcements. He was losing soldiers every day. The humans were everywhere and nowhere. They attacked and vanished. They set traps and ambushes. They refused to fight fair. The High Command sent reinforcements. The reinforcements died, just like the others. But the strangest weapon humans used was not physical at all. Throughout Karathi space, messages began to appear. Broadcasts that somehow bypassed all security. Videos and images that spread from ship to ship, world to world. The messages showed faces. Human faces. The faces of people who had died on ERIDAN-7, children smiling at birthday parties, old people celebrating anniversaries, young couples holding hands, scientists working in laboratories, farmers harvesting crops, ordinary people living ordinary lives. Each image had a simple caption. They killed us. Why? The Karathi Dominion ruled through fear. Their subject species obeyed because disobedience meant death. But fear only works when the enemy seems strong and invincible. Humans made. The Karathi look weak. Every destroyed supply convoy, every burning fuel depot, every dead soldier on Kestrel 4, each one was a crack in the armor of Karathi power. And through those cracks, doubt began to seep in. Some subject species started asking questions. If humans could fight the Karathi, maybe others could too. If the Dominion could not protect its own supply lines, maybe it could not protect anything. Small rebellions began to flare on distant worlds. Nothing major yet. But the Karathi noticed. 8 months after the war began, High Commander Varix reviewed the reports from his generals. The numbers were impossible. The Karathi had lost more ships in 8 months than in their previous 3 conquests combined. Human fleets appeared from nowhere, struck vital targets, vanished before reinforcements arrived. Worse, human technology was advancing at a terrifying rate. At the start of the war, human weapons could barely scratch Karathi armor. Now they were tearing through it like paper. Human scientists were working around the clock, studying captured Karathi technology and improving it in the span of months. Humans had closed gaps that should have taken centuries. Varix stared at a report about a new human weapon, something called a mass driver. It used electromagnetic fields to launch projectiles at incredible speeds. No explosives, no fancy technology, just simple physics applied with devastating precision. The projectiles moved so fast that Karathi shields could not stop them. Where had this come from? How had humans developed this so quickly? The answer was simple, though Varix did not understand it. Humans had been fighting wars for 10,000 years. They were very, very good at it. War did not frighten them. War was where they lived. War was what they knew. The Karathi had made a terrible mistake. They had assumed that destroying one colony would teach humanity to fear them. Instead, it had reminded humanity what it really was. A species born in violence. Raised in conflict, perfected through endless war, and now that species had a target for all its fury. 9 months after the declaration of war, High Commander Varix did something no Karathi leader had ever done. He contacted the Galactic Council and requested a meeting. He wanted to discuss terms. Back on the Silent Fury, Captain Hannah received the news. She was eating dinner in her quarters when Lieutenant Commander Junho brought her the message. They want to surrender? She asked. They want to negotiate. Hannah set down her utensils. She thought about the war, about the friends she had lost, about the enemies she had killed, about a colony called Eridan 7. where 40,000 people had died because a powerful species thought they were prey. "Tell command we will continue operations until ordered to stop," she said. "And tell them this. Humanity does not negotiate with those who kill our children. We dictate terms." Junho nodded. "What terms should we dictate?" Hannah looked out the viewport at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Karathi were learning what it meant to anger humanity. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was watching and wondering if everything they thought they knew was wrong. "We will tell them our terms when we are ready," she said. "Until then, we keep fighting." The storm was far from over. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so full. Every species sent representatives. Every faction sent observers. News drones floated near the ceiling, broadcasting the event across 1,000 worlds. History was being made, and everyone wanted to witness it. The Karathi delegation arrived first. High Commander Verax led them through the crystal corridors. He was massive, even for a Karathi. 3 meters tall, with dark armor covering his body and scars across his face, he had won 100 battles. He had conquered empires. Today, he looked tired. His officers walked behind him. Once they had marched with pride, their banners held high. Now those banners hung limp. The officers kept their eyes down. They did not want to meet the gazes of the other species watching them pass. The human delegation arrived 10 minutes later. Ambassador Park Jisoo walked at the front. She wore a simple black suit. No decorations, no medals. Just the emblem of United Earth on her collar. Beside her walked Lieutenant Kong Do-young. He was different now. The young man who had trembled with grief 9 months ago had become something harder, something colder. There was a new medal on his chest. A small silver star. The Eridon Star. It had been created to honor families of the massacre. Thousands of people wore it now. They entered the chamber together and took their positions. Jisoo stood at the center of the floor. Verax stood opposite her. Between them, the 12 council members watched from their thrones. High Arbiter Morvath spoke first. "We are gathered to discuss the terms of peace between the Karathi Dominion and the United Human Nations. High Commander Verax has requested this meeting. He will speak first." Verax stepped forward. His voice was deep and rough, like stones grinding together. "Humans," he said, "you have proven yourselves worthy opponents. The Dominion respects strength. You have shown strength. We offer honorable terms." He raised a datapad and began reading. "The Dominion will return all captured human territories. We will pay reparations in materials and technology. We will formally recognize human borders. In exchange, both sides will cease all military action. The war will end." He set down the pad and waited. Jisoo listened carefully. When he finished, she nodded slowly. Then she shook her head. "No." Verax's eyes narrowed. "No, these are generous terms. More generous than the Dominion has ever offered." "They are terms," Jisoo agreed, "but not our terms. You came here to negotiate." "We did not come here to negotiate. We came here to dictate." She pulled out her own datapad. "Here are humanity's requirements. First, complete dissolution of the Karathi military command structure. Your generals and admirals will surrender themselves to human custody." Verax's face twisted with anger. "Impossible. You cannot." Second, Jisoo continued, ignoring him. "War crimes tribunals. Every officer involved in the Eridan 7 massacre will face trial. Those found guilty will be punished according to human law. This is humiliation. Third, permanent human observers on all Karathi worlds. We will ensure you never again have the ability to commit genocide." Verax stepped forward, his massive fists clenched. The Velathi guards tensed, but did not move. "You go too far, human. You have won battles. You have not won the war. If we resume fighting, then resume." Jisoo's voice was cold. "Please." "We were hoping you would." Something in her tone made Verax pause. He looked at her carefully. She was small, fragile. He could break her neck with one hand, but she showed no fear. "None at all." "You were bluffing," he said. Jisoo smiled. It was not a nice smile. During the past 9 months, we have been holding back. We struck your supply lines and fuel depots. We freed captured worlds and destroyed isolated fleets. But we never attacked your homeworld. We never used our most powerful weapons. Do you want to know why? She activated her datapad. A holographic display appeared in the air between them. It showed a weapon. Something massive. Something terrible. We call this a planet cracker. We finished building them 2 months ago. We have 12 of them. Each one can break a world into pieces. Turn a living planet into an asteroid field. The display zoomed out. It showed Karathi Prime, the Karathi homeworld. A planet of 10 billion souls. We could destroy your homeworld in 6 hours. We chose not to. We chose to give you a chance to surrender peacefully. Jisoo looked at Verax with eyes like ice. Do you still want to resume fighting? The chamber was completely silent. Every being present stared at the holographic display. At the weapon that could end worlds, Verax said nothing. His officers said nothing. The pride that had carried them through centuries of conquest seemed to drain away. Council. Member Thiessen spoke into the silence. Ambassador Park. These terms. Are they final? There is one more requirement, Jisoo said. The most important one. She turned to face the entire chamber. Every species. Every observer. Everyone watching across the galaxy. The Karathi will teach their children what they did. Every generation will learn about Eridan 7. They will learn about the 40,000 people who died because someone thought they were weak. They will learn what happens when you underestimate humans. She looked back at Verax. You will never forget. And your children will never forget. And their children after them. As long as your species exists, you will remember this lesson. Verax stood like a statue. His officers waited for his response. The entire galaxy waited. Finally, he spoke. His voice was barely a whisper. We accept your terms. The chamber erupted with noise. Council members spoke over each other. Observers shouted questions. But Jisoo ignored all of it. She turned and walked back to where Duyan was standing. Is it over? He asked quietly. Jisoo looked at him. At the Eridan star on his chest. At the lines of grief still visible on his face. The war is over, she said. But it will never really end. Not for them. Not for us. Hi, Arbiter, Morvath called for order. When the chamber quieted, he spoke solemnly. The Council acknowledges the end of hostilities between humanity and the Karathi Dominion. We also acknowledge our own failure. We allowed bureaucracy to excuse genocide. We hid behind ancient laws while innocent people died. His tendrils dimmed with what might have been shame. New reforms will be enacted. No species will ever again be harmed because of administrative oversights. Eridan 7 will be remembered. The Council will ensure it, as you nodded. It was not enough. Nothing would ever be enough. But it was something. As the chamber emptied, Thiessen approached Jisoo privately. The reptilian council member looked at the human woman with something like wonder. I must ask, Thiessen said. How did you do it? How did you develop so quickly? You matched centuries of Karathi advancement in mere months. It should have been impossible. Jisoo considered the question for a long moment. You have had peace for 10,000 years, she finally answered. We have had war for 10,000 years. You learned to build civilizations. We learned to survive anything. You developed your technology slowly, carefully, safely. We developed ours while people were trying to kill us. She paused. When someone gives us a reason to fight, we become very focused, very creative, very dangerous. The Karathi gave us a reason. Now the galaxy knows what happens when humans fight together. Thiessen was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, and what happens now? Now, Jisoo looked out the window at the stars. Now we go home. We rebuild. We remember our dead, and we make sure no one ever thinks they can harm us without consequence again. 3 weeks later, Lieutenant Kong Doyon stood on a new world. They called it New Eridan. It had been terraformed in record time. A living memorial to those who died. Behind him, the memorial wall stretched for kilometers. Black stone carved with 40,000 names. Each name a person. Each person, a story that ended too soon. He found his sister's name. Kong Yaren, botanist, dreamer, victim. He placed a white flower beneath it. The same kind of flower she had been studying when she died. Scientists had recovered samples from the ruins. Now those flowers grew all over New Eridon. Life from death. Hope from tragedy. Ships passed overhead. Human ships. Korathi ships bearing observers. Ships from a dozen species who now sought alliance with Earth. The galaxy had changed. The Korathi Dominion was broken. The Council was reformed. And humanity had proven something that would never be forgotten. Humans did not start fights, but they finished them. Doyan stood at the memorial until the sun set. Then he straightened his uniform, touched his sister's name one last time, and walked away. There was work to do. A galaxy to explore. A future to build, but the past would never be forgotten, and the galaxy would never forget rule number 1.